The time has come. Everything a woman does makes it difficult for a man to want to start a family. In a justice system built on the suffering of men and the destruction of families, American men are finally saying they have children and are no longer keen to raise their own families. If that's true, more than that, I think that's the way things have been over the past few decades, with the birth rate in the US falling. If there are men and women who don't want kids anymore, or at least make it a priority, neither sex wants children. Then curtains. Gentlemen, in the articles we are about to read, it appears that men are now weighing the pros and cons of having children in America, and may choose not to. It was a disaster. Gentlemen, this is nothing to celebrate, as the fact of where we are now means that it is only a matter of time before this spreads to other countries and marks the beginning of the end of human civilization. You might think I'm overreacting, but trust me, it's not impossible, as we do have a worldwide problem of declining birth rates. How is this possible without a plan or design to control the population? Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but you can't tell me it's a coincidence. Everything we've seen so far looks perfectly planned and executed. It seems that humanity is in the hands of the humans in the shadows who control the world. That's all I have to say. But this already bad situation doesn't look good at all, and we'll see how bad it is for men to be stingy with their seeds. This article, from Suppost, is titled "New Study Finds Childless Men in America Are Increasingly Disinterested in Fatherhood." Boy, do these sound like the last few days to me. When I heard this, I realized how it sounded in the Bible. This is no bullshit, contrary to what some people think. Tap the like button and get up to 50 likes for this video. Well, before I say anything else, let's get started. For most people, envisioning an ideal future has become part of raising a family over time. Currently, more than 1/3 of American men are childless, which begs the question why. According to a study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family, this is partly due to a growing disinterest in changes due to a number of factors, including father fertility, socioeconomic stability and cultural norms. Economic uncertainty and a reduced focus on the traditional family unit appear to have led to a decline in the birth rate in recent years, worrying many because the US birth rate is now below replacement levels. Most research on family planning and parenthood has focused on women, but new research seeks to understand the perspective of childless men. Robert Bozak used data from 3 sources in his research: the National Survey of Family Growth, the Future Research Monitor, and the panel study on income dynamics transitioning to adult grants. All data is centered between 2000 and 2020. Gentlemen, have you ever heard of Americans being below replacement level? This means that fewer children are being born than are currently dying. So the actual number is decreasing year by year because they don't have enough children to replace the ones who are sent to Shadowlands. This is a worldwide phenomenon, especially for Japan. They are very troublesome and endangered. What's the matter? Coincidentally, the world's elite know what they're doing. Of course, they were arming the women's movement to stop wanting children too early and focus on their work, which was the first straw that broke the camel's back. Look at where we are today. Reportedly, men already had testosterone problems and low sperm counts, and now they don't think it's worth having children. It is exaggerated. It sucks when only one partner doesn't want kids, but now both don't want kids anymore. To make matters worse, it's all over. In my opinion, there is no turning back because we are too divided and women have embraced feminism and the New World Project. You know who? Let's continue. Bozak used data from 18,183 US men from the National Survey of Family Growth, which included questions about whether participants imagine having children in the future and how much it would bother them if they never had children. The Monitoring the Future study focused on high school students and asked them how many children they would have and how likely they were to have children. A group study on income dynamics during the transition to adulthood. This supplement looks at men aged 18 to 28. Using 6 waves of data, Bozak asked participants about the importance of family vacations as an aspect of their work. The results showed that over the past 2 decades, childless men have become less interested in having children. In fact, the number of men who said they didn't want children at all doubled during that period. Gosh, did you hear that? This downward trend continued for 2 decades, during which time male indifference to children doubled. That cannot be saved. Ended. I think it started with feminism and no-fault divorce, then got worse with the advent of smartphones and connection culture. Men have seen countless men sacrifice their wives and take their children for money, not to mention women chasing top men while ignoring average men. And make things worse, they believe in feminism, which tells them to delay the prime of life of their children and focus on their careers. How could anyone be surprised that this happened? Believe me, I'm not the only one, because I know a lot of men who don't want to have kids because of the consequences of the mother's inevitable involvement in the process. Men don't want to sign up for this BS despite the family courts having made tough decisions blackmailing families into pockets, financially crippling men, taking their children and automatically giving custody to mothers. I'm surprised there are so many men. If nothing changes, it's only going to get worse over time, and I don't see anything that can bring men and women closer together. The only way society can solve this problem is through apocalyptic events that destroy countless lives and weaken top executives. In order to survive, females have no choice but to return to males, and this is the only way to reverse this situation. But I don't see this happening, so say goodbye to society and hello to human extinction. Let's continue. Likewise, men reported that they wouldn't mind if they never had their kids doubled. Among high school seniors, the percentage who said they definitely did not want children remained unchanged, while the percentage who said they were very likely to want children declined. Additionally, the number of men who said good parental leave was important to their jobs fell between 2005 and 2015. This study takes important steps to better understand trends in parent-child relationships. However, there are some limitations to be aware of. One limitation is that the study can only track descriptive trends and cannot really answer why we see these patterns. Come on, you know exactly why we're seeing this pattern. Even a blind man can see why men don't want children. See, they think men will just accept abuse and bullshit from women and never find a way to fix it. Just like a man goes his own way. People realize that the only way to win is not to gamble, but to walk away. That's what men do. I wholeheartedly support men choosing not to have children so they can protect themselves. Even when American men have children, they almost certainly do not raise them. Why, then, would a free-thinking person want children to be used as pawns against him? Exactly. Men are not stupid. Only strategists at Dan Hope signed off on the sketchy deal. The rest of us realized it was an uphill battle and gave up on having kids. At this point in my life, the only options for having a baby are through surrogacy or some broadband trap. For me, this is the only way, because I am not going abroad to have a baby. The new social credit system that lemmings will accept will soon win and I won't be able to travel. Most likely. So yes, if I can't hire a surrogate, I have no plans to have children. The way the world works, I don't even think I want kids. If I'm serious, they'll make people eat bugs. We will have nothing. Bots in San Francisco and all 50 states are said to be empowered to remove criminals. It looks like a world government is coming. CBDC. No, I would give up having children. Fat. This appears to be some doomsday straight up in the book of Revelation. Anyway, enough is enough. Let's continue. The descriptive trends documented in this short report clearly show that childless men are becoming increasingly fearful of fatherhood. But the question remains, why? Bozak wrote in his study, but without directly answering the question, that the current research landscape on family formation and family planning is incomplete. In the wake of the Kaufland pandemic and the long-term decline in fertility, new questions have arisen about which factors are most relevant to couples' decisions to have children to ensure couples have a wide range of planning options for the families they support. Men in general, and childless men in particular, receive little attention in these scholarly discussions of family planning. If the trends observed here continue, attempts to increase fertility must consider what factors lead to growing disinterest in childless men, Bozak writes. A logical next step for family researchers is to identify these factors, whether structural, evolutionary, cultural or biological. The study shows that childless men in the United States are becoming less and less interested in fatherhood. A short report will be published on July 3, 2022. Gentlemen, this way, we know why men don't want to have more children. It's simple. Apparently they didn't know that in the blue wastes, well, women choose the best men to procreate, which means that average men can't have children even if they wanted to. Thanks, polygamy. It's just natural selection. Died weak and poor because they lacked what women demanded of men, and the strong ones who had the resources to continue their lineage. Then add population control, feminism, culture, family courts, and programs for a society that no longer values two-parent families. Of course, the man will comply and decide that it is best not to have children. It's easy to understand, but it is what it is. I say let it burn. Don't try to save society by weeding out women. And don't get those opportunistic bishops pregnant to earn your child support. If you wanted to have kids, you could flip a coin and risk hiring a surrogate or go abroad and have the kids there, and either bring the kids back or leave them there for a visit. Here is my suggestion. I would never have a baby in America, and I won't tell you to do it because modern women in the system make being a father so difficult. Now, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but the reality is that only 18% of children in America are raised in two-parent households. This should tell you if you should flip a coin with these stats. It is almost impossible to have children in a stable environment. So, without a specific surrogate, I would choose not to be involved in having a baby in the US. But that's just me. At the end of the day, this is your life and your seed. So make the decision that you think is best for your life. Don't just take what I have to say until the next video.